Did you ever imagine that one of the biggest global pop stars could quietly step into a world that most fans never even think about, a world dominated by numbers, power, and influence far beyond the stage? Because right now, something is happening with Jungkook that feels almost unreal. Not loud, not flashy, not something that trends instantly for a few hours, but something deeper, something that signals a shift in what it truly means to be a global artist in 2026. And here's the part that stops people mid-scroll. Jungkook has officially been listed among a very small and exclusive group of individuals in South Korea's K-culture industry whose stock holdings exceed tens of billions of won. Let that sink in for a moment. This is not about album sales. This is not about streaming numbers. This is not even about sold-out tours. This is about ownership. Real ownership. The kind that places you inside the system, not just performing on top of it. Before we go further, ask yourself one simple question. When you think about success in K-pop, what comes to mind first? Fame?
Charts? Viral moments?
Now imagine if all of that was just the surface, and underneath it, something much bigger was quietly growing. Because while millions of fans were watching performances, sharing clips, and celebrating comebacks, Jungkook was building something that most people didn't even notice. A financial position that now puts him in a category few artists ever reach. According to verified financial research data, Jungkook's stock value is estimated to be around 24.9 billion Korean won. And no, that number isn't just impressive, it's transformative. Because that value is tied to shares in HYBE, one of the most powerful entertainment companies in the world. This means Jungkook is not just an artist under the company. He is, in part, an owner within it. Now pause for a second and really think about what that means. Every time the company grows, his stake grows. Every time the market reacts to news, announcements, or global hype, that value shifts. And when something major happens, like a BTS comeback, the impact doesn't just stay in the world of music. It moves into financial markets. This is where things start to get interesting, because Jungkook isn't alone in this position. Several BTS members hold similar stock values, creating a rare situation where global artists are financially aligned with a company's performance. It's not just about contracts anymore. It's about shared growth, shared success, shared risk, and that changes everything. Imagine this. A comeback is announced. Social media explodes. Fans across the world react instantly. Headlines spread. Anticipation builds. But behind all that excitement, something else begins to move. Investors start paying attention. Confidence increases. Stock activity shifts. The value of the company becomes tied to the energy created by the artists. Now think about that connection. Music creates emotion. Emotion creates attention. Attention creates value. And that value feeds directly into the financial world. This is the hidden layer of K-pop that most people never see. And this is exactly why Jungkook's position matters, because entering this elite group means he is no longer just influenced by the industry. He is part of the structure that defines it. Data shows that only a limited number of individuals in Korea's K-culture sector hold stock assets above 10 billion won. Jungkook being part of that group is not just a milestone. It's a signal that the role of an idol is evolving. But here's where the story takes another turn, because if you look at the timing, it doesn't feel random. BTS returns to the spotlight. Global demand surges again. Massive events draw worldwide attention. And naturally, the company connected to that success becomes more valuable, which means those holding shares benefit directly from that momentum. So now the question becomes, is this just coincidence? Or is this the result of a long-term strategy? Because when you zoom out, the pattern becomes clearer. From early in their careers, BTS wasn't just building a fan base. They were building influence, cultural influence, economic influence, global reach. And now that influence is translating into something far more permanent: ownership. And Jungkook, as one of the most recognized faces of that global movement, is right at the center of it. But let's be clear about something important. This does not mean Jungkook is suddenly the richest figure in the industry. There are founders and executives whose stock holdings are far higher, reaching into the trillions of won. The gap is still massive. However, what makes this moment powerful is not the ranking itself. It's the entry into the circle, because once you're inside that level, everything changes. Your position changes. Your influence changes. The way the industry sees you changes, and maybe most importantly, your future potential changes. Now here's something that makes this even more fascinating. Stock value is only one piece of the puzzle. It's one layer of a much larger financial picture. There are brand partnerships, global endorsements, intellectual property rights, and other investments that are not always fully visible to the public. Which means what we see now could be just a fraction of the full story. Imagine this. If Jungkook is already at this level based on what is publicly known, what else is building behind the scenes? What happens if the company continues to grow? What happens if global demand for BTS expands even further? What happens if new ventures, new projects, or new markets are introduced? Suddenly, this isn't just about current numbers anymore. It's about trajectory, and that trajectory is what makes this story so compelling. Because we are not just looking at a snapshot of success. We are looking at a moment in an ongoing evolution. A transition from artist to global figure to something even bigger. Someone who doesn't just perform within the system, but exists as part of its foundation. Jungkook's journey makes this even more powerful. From a young trainee with a dream, stepping into an industry known for its pressure and competition, to becoming one of the most recognized performers in the world, and now reaching a point where he holds a measurable stake in the business itself. That's not a normal path. That's not something that happens often. That's something that redefines expectations. And this is where the emotional layer of the story comes in. Because for fans who have followed Jungkook from the beginning, this moment represents more than just financial success. It represents growth, transformation, proof that the journey meant something beyond the stage. But at the same time, it raises new questions of if this is where things are now, where does it go from here? Because influence at this level doesn't stay static. It expands. It evolves. It creates new opportunities, new pressures, and new possibilities. And maybe that's the most intriguing part of all. We are watching this happen in real time, not years later. Not as a retrospective story. Right now, if you've made it this far, here's something to think about. Are we still looking at Jungkook the same way we always have? Or are we witnessing the rise of something different? Something that goes beyond the traditional definition of a K-pop idol? Because if this moment tells us anything, it's that the line between entertainment and power is starting to blur. And Jungkook is standing right at that intersection. And maybe that's the part that makes the story impossible to ignore, because what we're seeing right now isn't just another headline about a K-pop idol gaining wealth. It's a shift, a quiet but powerful shift in how influence works in this industry. Jungkook is no longer only defined by performances, vocals, or viral moments. He's now part of a much bigger structure, one that connects music, business, and global impact into a single force. From the outside, it might still look like the same story. A global superstar, massive fanbase, endless success. But underneath that surface, something has clearly changed. The level of control, the level of influence, and the level of positioning he holds today is not the same as it was just a few years ago. And that's exactly why this moment matters. Because entering a financial circle like this isn't just about money. It's about access. It's about being in a position where decisions, movements, and momentum all connect in ways most people never see.